Welcome to today's explainer. Going through our source material today, I came across something just incredibly cool. We're looking at how to count from 1 to 20 in Scottish Gaelic. And let me tell you, it is definitely not just some dry list of vocabulary words. As you'll see, these numbers actually interact with and physically change the words around them in some pretty surprising ways. Okay, let's dive right in. To make sure these numbers really stick, the sources bring along some, pretty adorable companions for our little language adventure today. A family of ducks, or as they say in Gaelic, tinnagan. Now, a really quick recommendation as we go through this explainer. I highly encourage you to speak out loud with me when I leave a pause. Getting the physical pulse and rhythm of these words in your mouth, that is absolutely the secret to mastering them. All right, ready? Let's do this. We're going to start with the abstract numbers. These are the ones you use when you're just counting out loud, not counting specific physical objects. When a number is just hanging out by itself in Gaelic, it usually gets preceded by this little S sound. Let's knock out 1 through 5. I'll see it slow, then a bit faster, and then you just echo me in the pause. Number 1 is h-àireamhan, h-àireamhan. Your turn. Number 2, atá, atá. Number 3, a tree, a tree. Number 4, a ceathrar, a ceathrar. And number 5, a còi, a còi. You hear that rhythm? It's kind of catchy, right? Let's keep that energetic momentum rolling right into number 6 through 10. Same drill. I'll lead, you echo. Number 6, a sis, a sis. Number 7, a sacht, a sacht. Number 8, a ocht, a hocht. Number 9, a noi, a noi. And finally, number 10, a deich, a deich. Fantastic! We literally just built the base blocks for counting in Scottish Gaelic. But here is where things get really interesting. What happens when nouns sneak into the mix? I mean, in English, a 2 is a 2, right? Whether it's just the abstract number 2 or 2 ducks. But in Gaelic, when a physical thing follows the number actually changes the noun, and sometimes it even changes itself. Take the number 2. By itself, it's a da. But the second we count 2 ducks, that da drops its h and becomes da. And get this, it passes that h right onto the noun instead. So tunnig turns into thunnig. This softening sound is a process called lenition. So abstract 2 is a da, but 2 ducks, that's da thunnig. And this beautifully illustrates just how tricky and honestly fascinating lenition can be. Check out this phrase. O on tunug bag, one little duck. Now, the number 1, on, usually causes that softening lenition in the noun right after it. But look at the word tunug. There's no h added after the t. That's actually because of a special spelling rule. But watch what happens to the adjective next to it. Bag, which means little. It becomes bag. The lenition literally leaps over the noun and lands squarely on the adjective. Leaping lenition. I mean, what a wonderful little quirk of the language. Let's take the next step and see what happens when our flock grows. Here we've got tree tunnagan bega, 3 little ducks. Now, the absolute crucial takeaway here is this. When we use 1 or 2, we use the singular form of duck, tunnuk. But the split second we hit number 3 and above, the rules shift. 3 and up demand the plural noun form. So tunnug becomes tunnagan, tree tunnagan. Okay, time for a quick mini drill to really lock this into our brains. I'm going to ask you the ultimate question in Gaelic. Ca move tunug a thon. That just means, how many ducks are there? In a second, a flock is going to appear. I want you to count the ducks quickly in your head and say the number out loud. Ready? Ca move tunug a thon. Well, if you blurted out ceathrar, you absolutely nailed it. There are 4. But hey, to speak properly, we really need the full sentence. The full answer is ta ceathrar tunagan en. And notice we're using the plural tunagan there because we're at the number 4. Go ahead, say it with me. Ta ceathrar tunagan en.
Boom, excellent.
All right, brace yourselves. We are now entering the territory of na h-àireamhan, the teenagers. And, just like real life, the Gaelic numbers in the teens, 11 through 19, can be a bit unruly and dramatic. They've got completely different personalities from the lower numbers. But thankfully, they all follow one incredibly unique, very specific grammatical rule when it comes to counting objects. It's known as the teen sandwich rule. Think about it. In English, you just put the number, then the noun. 15 ducks. Easy. But in Gaelic, the noun physically goes right inside the teen number. Here's the formula. Step 1, your base number. Let's say coig for 5. Step 2, the thing you're counting, like tunagan for ducks. Step 3, the word dug, which is basically the teen part. Put it together, and 15 ducks becomes coig, tunagan, dug. Number, noun, dug. An actual sandwich. Let's see this glorious sandwich in action. Here we have 15 ducks. Coig, tunagang, dug. I'll say it slowly, you try repeating it. Coig, tunagang, dug. Now say the whole shebang. Coig, tunagang, dug. There you go. We just conquered one of the most unique features of Gaelic grammar. I do have to warn you about number 12, though. 12 wears this dangerous little disguise. Remember earlier how the number 2, da, causes lenition? It softens the word after it? Well, it still does that even when it's a teenager. When 12 is just by itself, it's a da dug. The da lenates dug. But when we count 12 ducks, it's da thwinug thwug. That powerful little word da lenates the noun thwinug into thwinug, and it still lenates the ending thwug into thwug. Da thwinug thwug. It is a literal grammatical double whammy. All right, let's shift gears. Take a look at this grumpy teacher who's clearly had a very long day because his grammar is just all over the place. Our job here is to enthusiastically yell, "Droch thidisher," which means bad teacher, and correct his mistakes out loud. Let's see if we've actually been paying attention to those singular and plural rules. First up, the teacher uses da tunagan. Droch tizershir. What should it be? Right, it's da thunug because 2 takes the singular lenitive form. Next, he tries 3 tunug. Droch tizershir. What's the correction for that one? Yes, 3 tunagan because 3 and up require the plural. Now he uses da thunug to count objects. Droch tizershir. Remember, right before a noun, it's just da, so it should be da thunug. And finally, on tunagan. Droch tizershir. It's one little duck, so it absolutely must be singular. On tunug. Honestly, we make a pretty good team of substitute teachers. We are on the home stretch now. Let's do a rapid-fire review of all the abstract numbers from 1 to 20 to really cement this vocabulary. I'm going to read them in clusters, see if you can keep pace with me in your head. 1 to 5. A han, a da, a tre, a ceathrar, a coig. 6 to 10. A sia, a shocht, a ocht, a nav, a deich. 11 to 15. A handug, da deg, tre deg, ceathrar deg, coig deg. 16 to 20. Sia deg, shocht deg, ocht deg, nio deg, and introducing number 20, ficad. And there it is, ficad 20, which of course brings us to 20 little ducks, ficad tunaganabiga. We made it all the way to 20. So as a fun little exit ticket from this explainer, try taking these rules. You know, the lenation for 1 and 2, the plurals for 3 and up, and that incredible teen sandwich rule. And just practice them on everyday objects around your house today. Count your books, your cups of coffee, your cats. Let's build up that muscle memory. To wrap things up, I want to leave you with one final kind of provocative thought. We've seen today that Scottish Gaelic doesn't just assign a basic label to a quantity. The quantity fundamentally alters the physical structure of the words around it, softening consonants or sandwiching nouns right in the literal middle of a number. So, does the way a language forces us to count objects actually change how we mentally categorize the world around us? Does a Gaelic speaker fundamentally feel the difference between a pair of objects and a trio of objects more deeply, just because the grammar forces them to? It is a truly fascinating question to ponder as we continue our language journeys. Keep counting, keep practicing, and I'll catch you in the next explainer. You already know how to count a handful of objects or animals in Scottish Gaelic, up to 20. But what happens when you need to count 100 of something, or even 1,000? Human beings play by their own distinct set of rules. Gaelic grammar treats people differently than objects or animals. Navigating these larger quantities means coordinating 3 things: a new mathematical formula for large numbers, a rule for singular nouns, and a specialized list of terms for counting people. We'll use the decimal stairs as our system for building large numbers. The base tens start with fiched for 20, triched for 30, ceathred for 40, and cowged for 50. The sequence continues through sasked, sachted, octed, and nawached, ending with ked for 100. These anchor words are your only required memorization. Once you have these steps down, you can map out every number up to 1,000. To form a number like 37, you cannot simply place 30 and 7 side by side as we do in English. Instead, you must use a specific connector formula, the tens word, followed by a sa, followed by the unit. 37 becomes drehed asa shakt. By learning this single structural pattern, you can produce any number up to 99 using simple assembly rather than rote memorization. You might also hear a traditional system based on multiples of 20, which is still common among native speakers. This sounds like a math problem. Da fihet, or 2 20s for 40, or 3 fihet, 3 20s for 60. Stick to the modern decimal path for speaking, but keep these base 20 terms in mind so you can follow along when others use them. In English, we pluralize by adding an s. Beginners try the same in Gaelic, saying fihet tunigan, but for numbers 20 and above, the noun remains singular, fihet tunag. Try it yourself. 183 ducks? Seud octa tree tunic? The number string itself already identifies the quantity as plural, so the noun does not need to change its form. People are the major exception. In Gaelic, humans are counted using their own specialized vocabulary. For groups of 1 to 10, we use personal numbers. 2 people is dithis, 3 is triùir, and 4 is ceathrar. This continues through coinure, ceathrar, and eventually deisnear for a group of 10. This shift in vocabulary marks a hard line in the grammar. Humans are processed as a collective category distinct from any other object or animal. So what happens if the group gets even larger? Once you move past 10 people, the rules revert. You use the standard decimal number plus the singular word for person, dune. 34 people is treated as a ceathrar dune. Essentially, once a group becomes a crowd, the language treats them as standard grammatical units again. Let's test these 3 systems together in a speed round. 1 breath for each prompt. 53 ducks? Cowgood sa tree tunag. 90 books? Now good lower. 8 people? Ochtanar. 100 people? Ket duina. Managing those prompts in real time requires you to coordinate syntax, noun forms, and human exceptions simultaneously. Screenshot this summary of our 3 core rules: the assembly formula, the singular noun rule, and the group words for people. Combining these 3 concepts allows you to count almost any quantity you'll encounter in modern conversation.